The digital revolution should be a revolution in its real sense, not just words. That was Rwanda's President Paul Kagame at the just concluded Transform Africa Summit. Now, the summit that attracted key industry leaders globally and heads of state, so conversations steer into policy implementation, the crucial role that women and the private sector play, and what now, a question that was posed as initiatives such as Fiber to the Home and Smart Africa were launched to the general public. In today's episode, we take a look at the highlights of the 2015 Transform Africa Summit. My name is George Ndirango. Welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda. The world continues to experience leaps in the ICT sector. It is estimated that by the end of 2015, there will be about 3.5 billion active mobile broadband subscribers. And with more than 2,500 participants from over 81 countries convened in Rwanda for the summit, the conversation could not have happened at a more opportune time.
Africa remains one of the world's fastest growing regions in this regard. Mobile operators invested a total of more than $1 trillion in networks from 2008 to 2014. And the investment is forecast to increase going forward, with the operator CapEx from 2015 to 2020 forecast to exceed $1.7 trillion. Distinguished colleagues, this year, ITU is celebrating its 150th anniversary, 150 years during which telecommunications and ICTs have contributed tremendously to humanity.
The first task was to ensure that this new agenda for ICT for development in Africa is broadly recognized. The African Union has adopted a resolution supporting Smart Africa initiative, and the ITU plenipotentiary meeting did so also last year in October in Busan. We've gone ahead and implemented the 4 key quick wins that were directed by the board that took place in Malabo in June last year. One area network is no longer a dream in the Northern Corridor. People can roam around without paying roaming charges. Within 1 month of implementation, the number of calls coming from Rwanda to Uganda increased by 400%. Today, that number has increased to 800%, just as an example. The Smart Africa Scholarship Fund has been established, and I'm happy to report that 7 young Africans who are pursuing their master's degree in Carnegie Mellon University today are recipients of that scholarship. The government of Rwanda has availed $1 million and facilitation for the Smart Africa Secretariat to start operating, and international staff are going to start arriving here in Kigali to drive all the entire portfolio of Smart Africa. Collectively, Your Excellencies, we have agreed that we shall raise not less than $300 billion in investment in ICT sector by 2020.
Among the key factors being looked at as we head into a digital era is a cashless economy. Eradication of the traditional bus ticketing system is one such example, well within the Smart Africa initiatives.
Before we came in, we found a system whereby someone pays cash, he's given a paper ticket. But there was a lot of leakages that were going on because cash is exchanging hands, about 30%. So we said we have to bring a solution that is not just removing cash, but is something that's not changing the habits of people. So we introduced a smart card, mounted a validator on the bus. So what happens is someone gets a card, taps onto the validator, and gets onto the bus. Right. So it removes the time that's wasted looking for change. Money that is lost is also recapped. And because you pay your money up front, the bus operators, the buses move really fast. They don't have to wait on the stage for the bus to fill up. So it's convenient in every way for everyone. At the moment, we have 147 buses mounted, and within 30 days from next week, we'll have cash eradicated on the buses. So the resistance we got is the employees of the bus operators, not the bus operators. So the bus operators are losing money, so bringing a solution that plasters their wound is very helpful for them. But the people that are actually stealing the money are the ones that were fighting the system so hard. But when you have the arm of the government trying to support something, then you have a different level of support than having it from a private company. So we had a lot of that resistance. And then we also integrated into already existing financial institutions. As I told you, we have all the 3 telecoms integrated. We have mobile banking, so everyone feels like they're included. People that you would have had as competitors are running on your platform for payment. So it played out very well for everyone.
A report by the Web Foundation noted that women are 50% less likely than men to access the web in the developing world and 30 to 50% less likely to use the internet to increase their income. To ensure men and women have the same level of participation to allow for equitable growth, practical solutions are required to address this deficit.
We are here today to address the digital gender divide and to do so in the shortest time possible. An overarching global framework agreed upon and signed off by all. And we're lucky to see that this has happened as the SDGs was signed by 193 countries at the UN General Assembly and is already into force. Second, good leadership that believes in and commits in word and deed to the goal. Third, good national policies that are inclusive, responsive, and articulate in addressing all discriminatory dispositions and root causes of the gender digital divide. Fourth, good institutions with strong capacity to drive this agenda forward in a truly transformative and equitable manner. Last, a population sensitized and ready to take up and enjoy the benefits of the inclusive digital policy. Thanks to our visionary leadership, Rwanda undertook the implementation of gender-sensitive reforms over the shortest period of time, which included the constitutional requirement to have 30% of women in decision-making positions. Today, our overall primary school enrollment is at 96%, with girls enrollment as high as 98%. Girls are encouraged to consider fields which were traditionally reserved for men, and currently at the secondary level, we are registering over 50% of girls in science, technology, engineering, and maths courses.
With all the initiatives being put in place, progress cannot be pegged entirely on the government's shoulders. So what exactly is the role of the private sector?
I think it starts by, first and foremost, addressing and understanding the needs. What are the right skills that we need? And then secondly, what is the right content that we need to teach? And thirdly, at what point do we make the different interventions? Because there will be interventions right from primary, down up to tertiary, and obviously, into higher levels of education. But also we have a workforce that is already, in different parts, whether in private or public sector, and we need to upskill them so they can actually be able to benefit from the immense offering that ICT brings. So I think the collaboration has to be really by doing a needs assessment, and then secondly means now, rolling that out and being able to provide the right content. And then thirdly, providing the right environment. So the internships, I think it's something that we, organizations need to think about. How many young people are we bringing into organizations to really upskill them and give them the right working experience in order for them to actually, go out there and be better work people or entrepreneurs for that matter. So I think it's a combination of several things, but we really need to start by doing needs assessment. One of the areas that most of our countries in Africa are lagging behind is really in adopting data protection laws. I mean, if you go to Europe, you'll find that they have very strong privacy protection laws and data protection acts as well, which help to safeguard the rights of individuals and also the rights of governments and others accessing data. So I think if there's one area that we would like to call upon, African leaders to really focus around is making sure we have the right regulations, particularly in the data protection and privacy space. If most of them are in draft in many of our countries, and if those can be fast-tracked by our legislators, I think we will then be able to harness the growth and the effects of digital transformation through ICT, but at the same time protect the privacy of our citizens.
Transform Africa Summit saw heavy commitment from governments towards the Smart Africa initiatives. The practicability of these commitments now comes into question.
The Smart Africa initiative has become a reference point for boosting digital transformation on our continent. But it's what we actually do that makes a difference. For example, last year in Eastern African region, we established, as earlier mentioned by our Minister of ICT, one area network. In Africa, we are fully aware that our continent has often missed opportunities to accelerate development. In placing ICT at the core of our transformation agenda, we can make sure that Africa is never again left behind. Well, there is never a very good explanation why we have been left behind in the first place. We have the right strategies and plans, but technology is first and foremost about lives, about people. We can develop our human capital and productivity using the same methods that are taken for granted in many other places. But that doesn't mean anything will be easy. The existence of technology doesn't automatically change lives. A mindset of curiosity, responsibility, and hard work is very necessary if we are to become our best selves and compete effectively in the wider world.
2015 was the year the world adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, and given the highlights that we've just seen from the 2015 Transform Africa Summit, it comes as no surprise that ICT remains as a pivotal point in this shift towards achieving a full success of our economy. That's all we have from today's show. Of course, we'd like to hear your feedback. Email us at dbir@abn360.com or tweet us. The official handle is at DBI Rwanda, or my personal handle at George Indirango. On behalf of the entire team that made this possible, thank you for watching. Keep it CNBC Africa, first in business worldwide.